colors mean.
Yeah,
It really does.
Neat idea, though. That's it for right now. Marcia and Lee are next. Have a good evening.
See you tomorrow.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
I'm Al Rothstein. The hot debate over flag burning gets even hotter, and part of it is spurred by a 15-year-old Jacksonville youth. I'll introduce you to him next. I'm Kevin Dooley at the new $124 million Barnett office complex here off of Bay Meadows, where, among other things, they have a TV studio, a fitness center, and one of the first corporate daycare centers in our city. We'll show you more coming up next.
Early this morning, a 4-year-old child was hit by a train and killed at this location just off Roosevelt Boulevard. I'm Ken Ameru. The girl lived in that mobile home park, and it happened about 12:30 this morning. Tonight, there are lots of questions surrounding this tragedy. That story coming up next.
WTLV 12, Jacksonville. Thanks to you, the First Coast's fastest growing television news. This is the News on 12 with Lee Webb, Marcia Ladendorf, John Lawrence with sports, and meteorologist Tim Deegan. The news starts now.
The man in the stretcher is 36-year-old Thomas Root, an attorney from Shelby, Ohio. He is listed in critical condition, but considering what he's been through today, he is lucky to be alive.
Good evening. It sounds like a movie script. Hard to believe. A single-engine plane on autopilot crashes into the ocean. The pilot is rescued.
The story begins in Washington, D.C., where Root takes off in his Cessna 210 early this morning, bound for Rocky Mount, North Carolina. He radios air traffic controllers that he's having chest pains and trouble breathing. By the time Marine Hornets from Cherry Point, North Carolina intercept him, Root has the plane on autopilot and is unconscious. The plane eventually runs out of fuel and crashes 15 miles east of Eleuthera Island in the Bahamas. Incredibly, Air Force rescue personnel are able to jump in after him and pull him to safety.
A Coast Guard helicopter flew Root to Miami, where we understand he's undergoing exploratory surgery.
There was speculation he had a heart attack, but now they're saying he may have suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning. Obviously, this has been a harrowing day for Root as well as his family.
Joe went through the whole story without telling you that
without telling me that he's all right or that he's been saved.
It is a story Kathy Root is now hoping to hear from her husband. She, family, friends, and neighbors spent the morning wondering whether they would see Thomas Root alive again.
I just got a phone call from the hospital in Florida. He's awake, he's talking to them, he's following their commands. They are checking for intra-abdominal injuries. He has no fractures, it appears. His condition is serious to guarded.
Root says her 36-year-old husband must be a survivor to have lived through the ordeal that began when the Alexandria attorney took off from Butler Aviation at National Airport around 6:30 a.m. in a single-engine Cessna 210. His destination was Rocky Mount, North Carolina, where he had planned to take a deposition. FAA officials say about 90 minutes later, Root radioed from the aircraft that he was having chest pains. Air controllers at Leesburg then notified his wife that they had lost contact with him. Mrs. Root says she immediately thought about what she was going to tell the couple's 2 young sons and daughter about living without a father.
Miracles are awfully hard to define, and people have fought over what's a miracle for centuries, but I didn't think that it looked very good for a while. How can you get somebody out of an airplane that's flying along at 170 knots an hour?
When his family got the word that he had survived and even swam out to his rescuers as his Cessna sank into the sea, they were elated.
I was praying that it happened.
He didn't send any message to me. I don't think he knew that they were calling me yet. I said to the young lady who talked to me to tell him, Root, you really did it this time.
Well, local Navy personnel were not involved in the actual rescue, but they were involved in tracking the plane.
Lieutenant Commander Matt Toohey is a pilot with VS-27 at Cecil Field. He was on a training mission this morning and was diverted to track the plane. We hope to talk to him live out at Cecil Field in just a moment. But there was another local angle to this story. The pilot who was saved and tracked down was monitored by the Air Traffic Control Center at NAS Jacksonville, known as Sea Lord. There were tense moments for controller Wilbur Harmon, who was responsible for determining the dangers ahead for the plane and where it might go down.
I honestly feel I didn't do anything out of the ordinary that anyone else in my position wouldn't do. It's just that I was afforded the opportunity to be able to sitting down and working the mission. As far as air traffic control itself, I get that satisfaction every day.
An incredible story, and Tom Brokaw will have more on it in about 20 minutes.
In other news, the state attorney's office says it will not file charges in the death of a 4-year-old overnight. It happened around midnight. Police say little Marquita Shepard wandered onto railroad tracks near her home just as a train was coming. Her body was dragged 300 yards. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Marquita and her mother lived in a nearby mobile home park. And a lot of folks are asking questions about how such a thing could happen. Ken Merrill has more.
Alice Shepard and her daughter Marquita lived in the Air Base Mobile Home Park, just off Roosevelt Boulevard. Her neighbors are upset and refuse comment.
I think I'll go down and call the police.
Channel 12? The family moved into the park yesterday. Their home is about 30 yards from the tracks. Police say the mother was asleep when the child left the home and headed to the rails.
The information we have is the mother is saying that she was asleep, and when she woke up, the child had gotten out and went outside. So at this point, that's as much information we have as to...
What you're looking at is the point of impact where the child was hit. The manager of the mobile home park told me that she had stressed to the child's mother that she may want to reconsider renting the home because it was near the railroad tracks. She reconsidered and decided to rent it anyway. The accident might have been avoided if the park was fenced in. The only barrier between the park and the tracks is a grassy knoll. The city's zoning code says each mobile home park shall be completely enclosed. But this park, according to city officials, doesn't have to comply with the zoning code. Police and city officials are hoping this tragedy would alert the others of the danger. Ken Amaro, the News on 12.
Now, city officials say the mobile home park was already there when the area was zoned commercial intensive, so the park was grandfathered in. That's why it doesn't have to adhere to those regulations. Council President Tilly Fowler says it's tragic, but the city's hands are tied. There's nothing to do but pray this doesn't happen again. A South Georgia convenience store clerk is under arrest tonight, facing charges connected to a fatal accident that killed 6 people over the weekend. Now, this is the aftermath. A pickup truck driven by 16-year-old Scott Steedley hit a van filled with people. Police say alcohol was involved in the accident. And late yesterday, they arrested 19-year-old Pamela Gail Humans, charging her with selling beer to a teenager who took it to a party where Scott Steedley drank it before the accident. They made the arrest after sending a minor into the store where Humans worked to buy beer. Another tragic story about a child and a gun. Just hours after Governor Martinez signed a bill into law protecting children from accidental shootings, a 10-month-old is shot to death. It happened in Tampa. Police say a 6-year-old girl found her parents' gun under a pillow, thought it was a toy, pointed it at her infant sister and pulled the trigger. The infant died in a hospital early this morning of a gunshot wound to the head. Police are investigating and may bring charges against the child's parents.
The hot debate over flag burning is getting even hotter. Today, Congress began debate over a proposed constitutional amendment that would outlaw flag burning. 2 weeks ago, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that it was okay to burn Old Glory, but that decision has angered many, including President Bush, who's leading the fight for the constitutional amendment. And he has plenty of support, including 15-year-old Kevin Schneider of Arlington. He's written to the president, organized a rally to support the amendment, and collected a petition with 600 signatures on it.
It's history, and it needs to be protected, and it's part of everyday life, and it shows our freedom.
Kevin says he hopes the petition will make a difference. He says he did it because he's a patriot and he wants to be a Marine someday.
Well, still ahead tonight, we'll explain why you can't buy discount ticket books at the toll booths anymore.
We'll take a look to show you that more thunderstorms on the way to rough up the waters but cool down the temps.
And later in sports, we'll tell you how big is big at the Kingfish Tournament. That in just a bit, so stick around.
You're watching the News on 12 with Lee Webb and Marcia Ladendorf.
6 months ago, this guy didn't even know his own name.
That's right.
Bullies would come up to him on the beach, throw him a few questions. He'd be totally humiliated.
It was a bad scene.
But then, I started him on a regular program of Jeopardy. We started out light, working on answers, hitting the button. Soon he had mastered the audio daily double. He was an inspiration to us all.
Someday, I'll make it to Final Jeopardy.
Sure you will, kid.
Work out with Jeopardy. Weeknights at 7:30 on TLV 12.
I'm Mike Davidson. You'd think someone who had 637 cars and trucks in stock would be desperate to sell them. You're right. It's Mike Davidson's Ford's money-saving sale with huge savings and up to $750 cash back on cars and trucks. Call me. Make me an offer. Hello?
We're still waiting payment on all those cars and trucks you ordered, Mr. Davidson.
On second thought, don't call me. Come right over and I'll give you 2.9% financing. And please hurry. I'm sorry, Mr. Davidson ain't here right now.
Have you ever wondered what 10,000 videos do when no one's watching?
Wow, what a difference! Hey, Vinny, long time.
Yeah, been on a 3-evening rental.
You look like a new release.
Oh, yes, ma'am, and I've never seen so many great videos. Or more kids' videos. Blockbuster Video. More movies, more nights, more fun.
Blockbuster Video! Wow, what a difference!
Common sense, dollars and cents. Car buying, what you know saves money. 1989 Chevy Cavalier cuts the competition.
More horsepower, more seating room, more trunk room, bigger engine, more available options.
The high-flying 89 Cavalier. It just blows them away. Test drive the Chevrolet Compare Ford at your Jacksonville Big 5 Chevy dealers.
Just 29 days left before you can breeze over any of Jacksonville's toll bridges without paying a toll. And because there's less than a month to go, toll ticket books are no longer on sale. The books were designed for commuters a month's supply at a discount. And the state DOT stopped selling the books a couple of days ago so no one would get stuck with tickets they can't use once the tolls come down. Remember, if you run out of tickets before August 11th, you'll be paying the full 30-cent toll.
You may love having a dark suntan every year, but are you willing to pay the price down the road? Doctors say it could be a high price if you don't take care of your skin. Roseanne Tejas is going to tell us how to do just that tonight in her News on 12 Extra, The Tanning Trap. She's here to give us a preview now.
Well, we've been talking about the dangers of suntanning all week long and what some people will go through to try and get a suntan. And in a place like Florida, there are so many things to do outdoors that even if you don't try to get a tan, you're still exposed to the dangers of the sun. Dangers that range from sunburn to premature wrinkles and skin cancer, which can be disfiguring or even fatal.
There are 6,000 deaths annually from this disease, and the rate of rise is the second fastest, second only to lung cancer in women.
What can you do to protect yourself? How can you avoid the tanning trap? We'll tell you tonight at 11. I wanted to mention to you, today I was out on a boat. I was only out for about 2 hours, had some sunscreen on, and my skin just feels parched and dry. I mean, it really makes a big difference.
You've been a sun worshiper most of your life. Have you changed your mind now that you've done this story?
Oh, no, I can't say that I've really been that crazy about the sun, but, you know, I've just spent a lot of time out in it. But now, not anymore. I definitely...
Take some precautions.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Thank you, Roseanne. Marcia?
Well, the weather is very crucial to us here coming up in sports because we want the thunderstorms to hold off until we can find out what's happening at the Kingfishing Tournament.
Yeah, and it looks like they will. They have. They've moved away from the tournament.
Oh, great.
Yeah, as far as where they're weighing in. Now, there's still some thunderstorms offshore. As far as we know today, although there were some very strong thunderstorms right where there were a lot of boats late this afternoon, we haven't had any reports of anyone having problems. And I'll tell you, we're pretty darn lucky if, in fact, that is the case, and we may have a repeat performance tomorrow. Let's take a look at the live weather shot from the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament area, the 9th annual. Here are the temperatures as we look live, and I can almost smell the fish on the grill, although I guess they wait a couple days for that. Here's the humidity, 67%, wind out of the southwest at 8, the pressure 29.95 and falling, and those mostly cloudy skies is pretty much what we have left now. Let's take a look. We had some big thunderstorms. They fired up from right about over the weigh-in station to areas just south of Mayport to St. Augustine, where at least half of the tournament fishermen and women were offshore. We had more than likely wind gusts of over 45 miles per hour out there and lots of lightning. But again, not reports of anybody having any major problems. And now all of that activity has diminished considerably, just clouds producing some light rain. Now for the rest of the night around the rest of the First Coast, as you can see at the present time, very quiet, although there will be a few scattered thunderstorms re-erupting to our northwest and then dropping to the southeast. Well to the east of us, well over 1,000 miles to the east of us, we've been watching Tropical Storm Barry. Well, sigh of breath of relief. Tropical Storm Barry has now weakened to a tropical depression. We talk about the convection, the thunderstorms. That's what we watch with the system, because the thunderstorms are sort of the chimney to the fire, and as long as that chimney is there, then the fire can really develop a good updraft. The system can develop a lot of strength, and it will continue to strengthen. But during the day today, we've seen, number one, the thunderstorms decrease. Number two, the thunderstorms tend to get blown away from the actual center that is actually well out now to the west of where the thunderstorms are, and that's why Barry has weakened to a tropical depression. Back closer to home, this is what we're facing, did face this morning. We'll have the forecast for you and take a look at the future in just a minute.
In Jacksonville, you qualify, you ride. I do, I do, I do, I am. Geo Metro, Geo Prism, Geo Spectrum, Geo in Jacksonville, at your Jacksonville Big 5 Chevy dealers. Geo.
J. Byron's Storebuster Saturday starts with 50% off selected Doorbuster buys from 8 to 10 a.m. this Saturday at J. Byron's.
WeatherTel, a 24-hour weather service brought to you by the News on 12 and American Federal Savings Bank, banking the AmFed way.
Toyota turns the high beams on savings. Now with $1,400 factory distributor rebates, you could pay just $99.57 for this fully equipped Corolla. $99.57 includes air, automatic transmission, power steering, and more. Plus, with $600 factory dealer incentives, your price could go lower. Incentives are going out to sell trucks. Up to $800 factory dealer incentives on these 2- and 4-wheel drive Toyota trucks. Head for the savings. You could save up to $2,000 at Toyota dealers right now.
Okay, for many, tomorrow a day to celebrate. I guess not only because it's Friday, but because it's the bicentennial of that big thing that occurred over there in France. Well, locally for us, the big thing is the Kingfish Tournament, and this is what we expect through 6 p.m. tomorrow. Basically, a band of showers and thunderstorms dropping to our south, but because now the Gulf of Mexico is very warm and we have southwest to westerly winds over the northern Gulf of Mexico, we'll even, like this morning, see a few morning showers develop out to the west of us, which is, I guess, a good time to have a morning shower, and then that activity will drift to the east. But what I'm really trying to say here is that the most concentrated activity will again be during the afternoon, and specifically for those heading offshore, and we saw a lot of 14 to 18-foot boats just offshore today. Take it easy and watch the forecast, because if we indeed made it through the day without anyone having problems today, we were lucky. Tomorrow, maybe not as lucky. We could possibly have some severe weather, and as the isobars tighten a little more, we'll see the southwesterly winds increasing. Now, for those of you who aren't French, aren't celebrating, or aren't concerned about the Kingfish Tournament, your chances of getting wet tomorrow, even better. Despite the increasing chances of rain, though, there is still a voluntary water restriction in effect. That is, we're asking folks not to water their lawns or anything else between 7 in the morning and 7 in the evening. Anything else being anything else outdoors. I'll let the words and the numbers do the rest of this weather for tonight. There we go. You can read it. Low of 72. The marine forecast, winds out of the southwest at 12 to 17 tomorrow. Watch the thunderstorms to the west. And there's your forecast. Not much sun, strong thunderstorms. Look ahead to show you Saturday, a lot of clouds, lots of showers and thunderstorms, and then a slight improvement on Sunday.
Now, the folks in Mandarin are doing something a little bit different. They're
not only the not on 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but then those with even addresses, not to water at all on even number days and vice versa.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Sounds like the old gas rationing thing back in the 70s.
There you go. It does.
Thank you, Tim. The new $124 million Barnett Office Park made its debut today on the south side. The 8-building facility is the largest of its kind in North Florida. Besides office space, it comes complete with a fitness center and aerobics, a television studio, and one of the first corporate daycare centers in town.
A parent can leave their child off as they come to work in the morning. It's open at 6:30 in the morning. Be comforted with the knowledge that the child is right on premises here. Visit them during the day at lunch hour if they feel the need, and pick them up at the end of the day.
Now, the daycare center will open next month and handle 150 children.
Great idea. Coming up next in sports, a little venture into fishing heaven.
It is the 9th annual Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament, and what a sight to see. We'll tell you about it in just a minute.
The '89 Cadillac Closeout, featuring the year's best values and cash back. If you don't hurry, you'll be closed out of DeVille's spacious interior. Enormous trunk space, fuel-injected V8 engine, and $1,000 cash back on new '89 Cadillacs. So don't get closed out. Visit your Florida Cadillac dealer now.
It's Circuit City's one and only super sale with super low prices throughout the store. This RCA camcorder is sale priced at $895.97. Less RCA's $100 mail-in rebate, it's a low $795.97. And this Novatel transportable cellular phone with case is just $299.97. Don't miss the one and only super sale at Circuit City, the intelligent choice.
The Home Depot Low Price Challenge. June 28th, Scotty's sells the Stinger 1-acre bug zapper for $39.95, a good price. That same day, Ace Hardware is about the same as Scotty's, but Home Depot's price is 25% lower, a savings of over $10 on the exact same item. And Home Depot guarantees low prices day in and day out. So come to the Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning.
Are you tired of going from one dealership to the next and never really knowing what you have to pay for a new car or truck? This weekend at King's Crown Ford, we've specially priced every vehicle right on the windshield, like this new '89 Escort, sale priced after rebate at just $59.88, or a new '89 Ranger for just $69.88. Remember, look for the red tag in the window this weekend at King's Crown Ford and choose the new car or truck you like at a price you won't believe. King's Crown Ford, you're dealing.
The Kingfish Tournament underway, and that is an incredible sight, isn't it?
It's something else. You know, the king fishing has been good in the last month. Lots of them out there.
Big ones.
Now, when it means something, we're seeing if they can bring them in. So far, not that many boats bringing in.
Really?
About 900 boats out there so far, only about 125 actually bringing in fish. We'll see what happens. They're not quite done. Tell you what, fishermen around these parts wait all year long for the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. Why, you ask? Well, maybe the $300,000 in cash and prizes has something to do with it. That, along with the challenge of going head-to-head with about 900 other boats full of hopeful fishermen. Day one today, and so far, as I said, they are still coming in, the boats are. Here's who's doing best. Todd Crawford with the biggest fish at 47.9 pounds. Want to see a great sight, isn't that great? All kinds of fishermen coming down the Intercoastal to weigh in at the Pablo Creek Marina. Lots of big fish, lots of good ones. A big aggregate today by the Rodney Ryan boat. They have 84.5 pounds of fish. There's a young kid finding out he had a pretty good cast today. All kinds of good stuff. And the word from out there today, the weather had something to do with the king fishing.
Well, I think the way the weather was this morning, as soon as the weather changed around 2 o'clock, the fish kind of seemed like they wanted to knock off. And that was it. The weather was good this morning.
So as I said, once again, Todd Crawford, the biggest fish so far, 47.9 pounds. Okay, so sir, there are some of the facts and figures from today. How about some of the flavor of the day, the color, the excitement? Well, for that, we go to our own Mr. Excitement himself, Dan Hicken, with his look at the day. What's happening out there, Dan?
Hey, John, a current update. Our new aggregate leader is here with us. He's Charlie Williams, 96 pounds of fish this guy caught today. How'd you do it, Charlie?
We worked hard at it today.
What's the big secret out there? Are you going to tell us going into tomorrow?
Luck. Luck, work hard, stay with it. We were just only 3 fish. We caught all of them in an hour, and they were just all 3 good fish.
At the chum hole?
We were north of there.
A little north of the chum hole for Charlie Williams. Good luck tomorrow, Charlie. Hope you can hold on to that and win 20 grand maybe. Okay.
Thanks,
all right. Thanks, Charlie. You know, there's one less than 1,000 boats competing in this, the 9th annual Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. But I'll guarantee you, of all of them, boat number 999 has the most unique crew. Meet Captain Martha and anglers Donna, Pam, and Sandy. We can't call you fishermen, can we?
No, I'd call us fisherwomen. We like that.
That's right. For the first time in Kingfish Tourney history, an all-lady team who don't just want to fry the fish at home, but catch them as well. So let's get the gloves on and go to work.
We got some comments of different varieties, let's say. But all in all, I think we've gotten a lot of support from the guys. I think they're really thrilled that we're out here, and they're kind of like, we heard, where's the man? We said, well, we didn't need one.
Today, something was making the bait fish scatter. Unfortunately, it wasn't the coveted king, but rather a mini Jaws. Still, we wanted to know what happens when the gals do hook a fish.
A lot of screaming kind of goes on.
And although our day ended with no kings, there were some highlights. And remember, this is a 2-day tourney. The ladies aboard the Family Circus plan on bringing those kings ringside tomorrow. John, really some great ladies out there on the Family Circus today. They promise more success tomorrow, and you can't count them out. Anything can happen in a 2-day tournament.
Tell you what, Dan, how much longer do you think they'll be weighing in out there?
Well, 1,000 boats, as far as the eye can see, we see boats. So if you want to come out after the show, grab a hot dog, you know, you could probably catch the end of that.
Okay, we'll have an update tonight at 11 o'clock. Okay, a couple other things to tell you tonight, not related to fishing. Seminole fans, I don't know what to tell you. It's just been a bad week for you guys. Just the other day, you lose your top football recruit to Proposition 48. Today, it's your top basketball signee. It's true, Miami All-American Douglas Edwards didn't make the grade. He's going to have to sit out his freshman season. Now, that is nasty news because this is a big-time talent, but unfortunately, we won't see in Tallahassee for another year. Better news today for you tennis fans. They announced part of the field for this year's DuPont All-American Classic up at Amelia Island. That's in September. And among those on their way, defending champion for the men, Andre Agassi, right there. Others so far committing Tim Mayotte, Jay Berger, Brad Gilbert, Pam Schreiber, and Zena Garrison. And quickly, just for a second, back to basketball. The AAU tournament semifinals tonight out at FCCJ. Team Jacksonville still going at it.
They're undefeated.
Undefeated.
All right, thank you, John.
Thanks, John. Up next, they call themselves the best band in the land, and they're in France to prove it.
If you just bought a Dodge Caravan SE, you'd better leave the room. Good, they're gone. They really wouldn't want to know they should have bought a Ford Aerostar instead. Aerostar's larger standard V6 delivers more horsepower than Caravan's 4-cylinder engine. Aerostar's got more room inside and more standard features. And Aerostar costs over $500 less than Caravan. I got this one because I found out my Ford dealer has scads of Aerostars and made me a great deal. So what are you waiting for? See Aerostar today at your Florida and South Georgia Ford dealer.
Why can't they make a stronger flea collar?
Someone has. Scratch X. Look, compared to Hearts and Sergeants, Scratch X has the power to kill twice as many fleas. Compare. All these collars kill fleas, but Scratch X has the power to kill twice as many fleas, since it's government approved to work twice as long.
Yet Scratch X is safe for 3-month-old pets.
Remember, compared to Hearts and Sergeants' 5-month collars, the Scratch X 11-month collar has the power to kill twice as many fleas.
We have been challenged to sell 200 new Hyundais and Suzukis this month, so Coggin is blowing the whistle on high prices. This new 89 Hyundai XL is just $59.99. This all-new air-conditioned Sonata, only $99.99. This new Coggin Suzuki GLX, only $77.55, or buy a 1990 limited edition Sidekick with over $1,100 in options at no cost. Score big savings now at Coggin Hyundai Suzuki on Atlantic Boulevard.
France is celebrating the bicentennial of its revolution today.
There's a huge parade, and one of our bands from Florida is in it. See if you recognize them. of course, is the 100 band from Florida A&M, rocking out.
That's right. They call themselves the band, considered by many to be the best in the land. And I guarantee you they've never seen anything like that in Paris.
You betcha. That's our news for now. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again at 11. I'm Marcia Leidendorf.
And I'm Lee Webb. We leave you with a live shot from the Kingfish Tournament. Good night.
Where's the cheap gas? Where's the cheap